Is this the worst werewolf movie I have ever seen in my whole life? Well, stay with me in this video to find that out. Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video I'd just like to review a DVD that I watched last night. It's actually a new release and that DVD is called Beast Within. Now, doubtless, as you probably gathered from the cover, it's a werewolf movie. Now, before I say anything else about this movie, before I give you my thoughts on it, I'll just read you the back of it, just to give you an idea. Then I'll talk a little bit more about it. Yeah. Okay. So, this is described as a classic whodunit with a twist. At the launch party of a new gaming application, Werewolves Awaken, a priest condemns the guests as marked for the beast. Now, convinced this is just a publicity stunt, they disregard his warning until someone is found brutally murdered. Now, as the mood switches to fear, everyone becomes a suspect in what turns out to be a deadly real-life version of the game. This is actually 80 minutes long. And it's as I say, it's just come out. Well, it's actually made in 2019, but the DVD was just released recently. Yeah. There's a lot of strange actors in this. I don't know. There's only one extra feature there, guys, and that's just the trailers, and there's some of the cast. Yeah, but don't be deceived, guys, by the aesthetics of this DVD, because I thought. I'm not going to pull any punches here. I thought it was an absolutely atrocious werewolf movie. And yes, I seriously think that this is the worst werewolf movie I have ever seen in my whole life. Yeah. I mean, I've seen being a huge horror fan, I have seen loads and loads of werewolf movies over the years. Obviously, if you're familiar with my videos, my very first werewolf movie that I watched was The Wolfman, with Lon Chaney Jr. It was made in 1941, but I watched it in the late 60s as a kid, and that was one of the movies that got me into horror. Yeah, nobody can play the Wolfman like Lon Chaney Jr., but this is I don't even know how to begin with this. I mean, it was just a total mess from start to finish. It really was. Yeah. The story was crap. The acting was crap. The atmosphere was crap. It was generally a crap movie, I mean, not just the worst werewolf movie I've ever seen in my whole blooming life. It's possibly one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Yeah. I mean, this is a prime example of how the aesthetics of a DVD cover can sort of like entice you to buy it and that, But oh yeah. Got this from Asda, and I wasted a few quid on this, guys. Yeah, so I'm putting it right on eBay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the premise about the werewolf game. You had this guy. He was supposed to be he was an entrepreneur, and he sort of like started his business like basically in a garage now, selling like he's talking to like a conference and that. And he's an elderly guy, and he describes how he started off. He goes into sort of like an Alan Sugar ramble about. I started off, very low, and I worked my way to the top. I mean, I started off selling werewolf cards from my garage and that, I mean, yeah. And then he's into bigger things now. He's really high up in the world of enterprise with this werewolf application. But no, I couldn't recommend this, guys. I mean, I have to be honest and say, don't waste your money on it. Because if you like this movie, I'm telling you now, I don't know what to say. I mean, if you like it, I mean, I can't imagine any fan of werewolf movies actually liking this pile of dung. It was awful, guys. I mean, I'm not joking. I'm not pulling any punches. It was a dreadful movie. It was very slow. That was one of its problems. There was a lot of lengthy dialogue in it. Just went on and on and on and on. In the end, I found myself looking for a box of matchsticks, to keep my eyes open, because I was getting that tired of it. And that, I was near falling asleep. Yeah, but I did manage to last out till the end, guys, which is a wonder, because movies of this mediocre quality. Well, I should rephrase that. Movies of this atrocious quality, I'm usually falling asleep. within what we say after half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I managed to stay awake, guys, with this one. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an awful. I mean, as I say, look at that cover. Wouldn't you think? Oh, that looks a super movie, Yeah, but I've found that particularly with these werewolf movies. I had one a couple of weeks ago. The werewolf in London. Something. Yeah. The cover when you first see them on the shelves and that. Oh, it hits your eye. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have that. But when you watch it. The quality of the story is very, very really commensurate with the aesthetics of the cover, yeah? Oh, yeah, it was a terrible movie, guys, it really was, yeah? So I'm going to put this on eBay, yeah, Beast Within, yeah, it was awful, it really was, yeah? And, the story was all over the place, most of the time, I was wondering, is this really a werewolf movie? And when you're actually seeing the beast, I won't go on too much about it, in case you are tempted to check it out, even rent it cheaply to see for yourself what it's like. I don't like to, impose my opinions on anybody. It's up to the individual person. If they want to, I'm just giving my opinion. And my opinion, again, it was a total mess. Yeah. Yeah, you can watch it, you can rent it out or even buy it if you want to, but you'd be wasting your money, guys, I tell you. It was a rubbishy movie. It was. It's not even deserving to have that cover, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't recommend this one, The Beast Within. It was an awful movie, yeah. I say this is the thing with a lot of these werewolf movies, they sort of like, they build them up and that, yeah. And then when you watch them, you find that, you find out that they're a load of rubbish, yeah. I can't remember, to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I watched a really decent werewolf movie. And I love werewolf movies, especially the Universal ones with Lon Chaney Jr. I mean, if I was to say, apart from The Wolfman, what's your all-time favourites? Some of your favourite werewolf movies, I would immediately say American Werewolf in London. That comes very close to The Wolfman. And then you've got The Howling, again from 1981. Love The Howling, yeah. The sequels are a little bit mediocre, but the first Howling, yeah, it was very, very good, yeah. Well, this pile of dung, oh. I think this, as regards the year so far, I think this is the worst horror movie I've ever watched. Never mind the Bloomin' Werewolf movie. It was terrible. I mean, I can't even think of one itsy bitsy teeny weeny redeeming feature I can give you about this movie. It was rubbish, and I hate it. But, as I say, being a lover of werewolf movies, I hate it when you buy what, it promises to be a really good movie. You're taken in by the cover. And when you put it in, you slot it into your machine and watch it. Oh, God, I've gone and wasted my money again on a major bore fest here. Yeah, but, yeah, it was awful. Yeah, the story there was hardly any story in it, really. And then the characters were all over the place. And I didn't like some of the witticisms that were put in, a la Freddy Krueger, the later movies. I don't like... I mean, when you put humour, I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me on this. When you venture to put humour, slices of humour into a horror movie, you've got to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, the movie falls flat on its face. I mean, I can think of a couple of examples off the top of my head that got the balance right between horror and humour. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which in my opinion is the greatest horror comedy ever made. If you haven't seen that, check it out, guys. You've got all the movie monsters in it, and of course you've got Abbott and Costello. They got it right because the monsters played it straight. There was no stupid... All right, Abbott and Costello, they were noted for being comedians, but they got the balance right, And then, of course, American Werewolf in London, that was another good horror movie. Again, it got the balance right between horror and comedy, but after that, you've got to really think, you got a Young Frankenstein. Well, of course, that was more of a spoof, but still a very, very enjoyable movie, yeah. But this, that was awful, guys. It really was, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, hardly anything happened in it. And all that those long moments of dialogue, oh, it was just boring, yeah. Okay, right, okay, so we're going to move on to me ratings now of 1 to 10. I am going to have to be very, very brutal, guys, and give this a naught out of 10. Yeah. Big thumbs down. It was an atrocious movie. I hated this. I did not like it at all. It hasn't got one single redeeming feature, but again, this is just, as I've said over and over again, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to put you off. If you want to venture to buy it or rent it and see for yourselves, and, let me know your thoughts, what you thought of it. But me, It's not even worth a half. It's not even worth a half out of 10, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed my review. I'm sorry if it was a bit brutal, but I have to give it when I don't like a movie. I've got to say. I've got to be forthright and say what I didn't like about it. And this, I mean, you know, it was just a ridiculous idea. You know, a werewolf application, and the werewolf's supposed to be a real. I couldn't even root for any of the characters. You know, I mean, there was a lot of characters in it, you know, a lot of young actors in it, but I couldn't root for one. Even the main fella, the main villain, you know, he wasn't very interested in that. You know, yeah. It's just rubbish, it really was, yeah. And there's one particular scene at the beginning where he's holding the conference, what I said about before, and you've got this like rather outspoken female news reporter, and she touches on the subject of he's not given credit or something for the guy who helped me. He's not given vocal credit to the guy who helped him devise the game, you know, and he's boasting about this werewolf application, and the female reporter, she pulls him up about it. Oh, you know, sort of like, I can't remember her exact words, but she says, oh, so basically you're not giving credit to the guy who helped you devise the game, and he sort of like he puts her down by saying something about, well, he apparently had an affair with her, and something about he shared it, you know, you weren't moaning when you shared me bed and all that. Yeah, but I can't remember the exact words, but he was trying to take the mickey out of her, you know, and then of course he shut her up then. Yeah, but she's still snooping around and that. Yeah, but I won't go on any more about it. It's not even worth the story's not even worth talking about. You know, that's how rubbish it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. And if you've seen the movie, or you know, if you've seen it, leave your comments, or you know, if you do rent it or buy it, I'd be very interested to hear if you share my very bad opinion of this pile of dung. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, that's it then. Enjoy the weekend. Take care, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Oh, beast within. It's enough to make you howl with anger.